pedagogies in leading journals, co-edited 2 international volumes on linguistic justice, and delivered keynote and invited talks at institutions including the University of Witwatersrand and China 3 Gorges University, McGill University, University of Groningen, James Cook University, and Buriram Rajbhat University. So over to you, Dr. Rafi.
Thank you very much. I'm already here to save time. Good evening, everybody. Here and online, it is an honor to open the discussion among such distinguished colleagues. I speak today as a critical applied linguist, and those who of you know me, you know that I do a scholarship called translanguaging. It's a framework that challenges colonial ideas of language separation, linguistic hierarchies, and also native speaker norms. So translanguaging conceptualizes language not as a fixed course like Bangla, English, Hindi, Urdu. Rather, it sees language as fluid, moment by moment practices through which multilinguals like us make sense of our world. আমরা যখন কথা বলি আমরা কিন্তু আসলেই বদার করি না আমরা কোন ভাষায় কথা বলছি. We draw words from our linguistic repertoire. So translanguaging scholarship also challenges and critiques colonial education systems like those in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan that reinforce rigid boundaries and unrealistic standards of linguistic purity. It reflects how we communicate daily, flexibly, and creatively. The pedagogical construct of translanguaging promotes social justice by validating the full linguistic repertoires, cultural repertoires of the students, and it questions the standardization and also hierarchies of languages that shape our classrooms today. Building on that foundation, my scholarship now turns to artificial intelligence as the next linguistic battleground. Because I believe language is the central ethical frontier of artificial intelligence. Consider the numbers. Over 93% of large language models training data is in English, with only 7% representing all other languages combined. This means the quality and accuracy of AI outputs often depends less on human insights and more on how much English and what kind of English was fed into it. Most of this data comes from what we translanguaging scholars call weird population. The meaning of weird W for Western, E
Recording
for educated, I for industrialized, R for rich, and D for democratic.
Recording in progress.
Put differently, AI often sounds like someone who has traveled more on Netflix than in real life. You type a prompt and you are essentially talking to a system shaped by the habits of a 19-year-old Reddit user from California. Since most of the models are trained on global knot data, a new epistemic hierarchy emerges. We call it algorithmic coloniality. It refers to digital systems that centralizes Western epistemologies while marginalizing our own. These systems reproduce racialized, gendered, and classed biases, not due to developer intent, but because harm is embedded in the data itself. For countries like Bangladesh, which have rich linguistic diversity but limited representation in global datasets, the stakes are particularly high because we are simply not weird enough. When traditional scholars discuss linguistic inequities, the focus often falls on familiar categories such as American English, British English, African American Vernacular English, Indian English, Shinglish, Ghanaian English, Pidgins, and Creoles, but rarely on Bangladesh. Partly because we have contributed to this omission, our English education remains prescriptive, guided by foreign methodologies. And our English departments, with the best intentions, continue to promote Anglo-normativity. I explored these issues in a recent article with Cambridge University Press and a chapter with De Gruyter. Current discussions on linguistic inclusivity often expand to more national languages. Yet, many of these national languages behave like English, operate like English, standardized, dominant, and they marginalize our local languages. So here my translanguaging work pushes further. It imagines a genuinely decolonial, multilingual future grounded in Bangladeshi context. I teach a master's course on critical AI studies at ULAB, and I see how our everyday discursive practices and those across the global south are fluid, mixed, and deeply contextualized, and definitely translingual. The AI systems with that weird English dataset cannot read this richness. My 2022 study showed that translanguaging is already a default practice in Bangladeshi higher education classroom, even if there is English monolingual policy implementation. Later, I was invited to replicate this study in Dutch higher education during my Groningen fellowship. So when AI corrects our translanguaging practices, it misreads our cultural cues and it prioritizes Anglo-American norms. This is not a simple software glitch. This is an ethical issue. It tells our students quietly, but quite powerfully, that your linguistic world doesn't count. This is not a minor pedagogical issue. This is a profound question of linguistic justice, representation, and epistemic dignity. The current panic around students cheating with AI misses another deeper issue. Our assessments still follow colonial monolingual models. As I argued in my 2023 Applied Linguistics Review article, education systems often advocate political ideologies like one nation, one language, and they use dominant languages to shape collective identity. Under such conditions, assessments become disciplinary tools rather than neutral measures of learning. Bangladesh is clearly no exception. Let me give you a concrete example. In 2018, the University Grants Commission mandated courses on Bangla language, literature, history to foster patriotism, while some private universities continue to assess even locally grounded subjects such as Bangladeshi political history through English medium exams. When assessment language does not match students' linguistic repertoires, the task shifts from demonstrating understanding to demonstrating compliance. As Elena Shohami reminds us, all assessments are essentially language assessments. This challenge becomes even more pronounced when we account for Bangladesh's diverse schooling systems, including Bangla medium, English medium, British curricula, Madrasa medium, English version. All of them are producing varied different proficiencies in Bangla and English, and also different epistemologies. These university assessments still continue to uphold native British or American norms, often inadvertently rewarding memorization over conceptual mastery. In such a system, AI becomes an attractive shortcut, not because our students are essentially unethical, because our pedagogy and assessment have not kept pace with multilingual learners, how they actually think, write, and make sense of their world. Cheating in this context is probably not a moral failure. It is a symptom of a structural misalignment between language policy, assessment practices, and the lived realities of our students. My ongoing research shows that many senior faculty members use appropriate words, like they do not feel comfortable or sometimes feel threatened by artificial intelligence, and often ban or discourage the use of AI in classroom. Their concern is genuine, but it is also shaped by our hierarchical academic culture, where younger, digitally fluent colleagues have limited or no influence on policy decisions. We have seen this pattern before. Think about the colonial period when British introduced English education. Many Muslim communities rejected it out of a fear of cultural loss, where Hindu communities embraced it and gained socio-economic advantages. Fear-driven refusal of new literacies always carries a cost. At the same time, enthusiasm alone is not enough. If learning a tool demands more cognitive effort than its perceived benefit, uh, in that case, or if hundreds of tools appear at once, we see like every day there are new AI tools. In those kind of situation, fatigue sets in. What we need is not prohibition, but structured guidance, cultural literacy, and thoughtful integration of AI into our pedagogy. This requires professional development that is meaningful rather than tokenistic. Programs where educators learn from research and practice how to integrate AI pedagogically, evaluate outputs critically, and redesign assessment for an AI mediated world. When used well, AI can personalize learning, support struggling students, offer multilingual explanations, free teachers from routine tasks so they can focus on mentoring and intellectual guidance. For the global south, it can even democratize access to world knowledge. The question then is not whether we accept or reject AI, but how we shape it. AI will not replace humans in Bangladesh anytime soon, not because it lacks capacity, but because our systems remain deeply hierarchical. To make AI meaningful, it must become part of our pedagogy, not an ornament added on the top of old structures. And that requires a cultural shift, one that empowers younger colleagues, encourages experimentations, recognizes technology as a core literacy. Without investing in right people, no technology can transform education.
Sir, I'll interrupt. Would you please go to conclusion?
Yes, in 10 seconds. So, to close, we stand at a turning point. AI does not need to become more powerful, we need to become more intentional. The future of linguistic justice will not be coded in Silicon Valley, it will be shaped in classroom like ours. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much for a very insightful and enlightening talk that you've given us. Brought in so many interesting questions. We will take questions at the end of the session after all the panelists finish their talk. At this time, we'll have a virtual panelist. Let me introduce Professor Dr. Akash Deep Muni. Sir, are you
Yes, I'm there with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for joining us virtually. Sir is joining from Adamas University, India. Let me introduce Sir. Professor Dr. Akash Deepmoni is an accomplished academic leader with over 19 years of experience in media and communication, spanning higher education, research, and industry collaboration. He has consistently driven innovation and expanded global partnerships across the institutions he has served. As professor and associate dean at the School of Media and Communication, Adamas University, Dr. Muni has played a pivotal role in the initiatives that contributed to the school securing an A grade from NAAC. He has led transformative curriculum developments as well. He also secured a 25 lakh rupee government-funded project in science journalism, reflecting his commitment to impactful research. Dr. Muni's global engagement includes serving as honorary director at Jet Times USA and consulting for the Times Group India, which enrich his strategic vision with strong industry insights. His international academic contributions features roles as external expert for workshops at DeMont Institute of Management Technology and Hult Business School, Dubai, strengthening cross-border academic collaborations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I would first of all thank American International University, Bangladesh, that you have invited me. And as I'm from India, namaste to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow innovators, and dreamers of a smarter tomorrow. Imagine this. It is a sweltering afternoon in a bustling classroom in Dhaka, Bangladesh. 40 students cram into a row of wooden desks. The teacher, Ms. Rahman, pulls out her tablet, not for a rote lecture on history, but to fire up an AI tutor that translates ancient Bengali poetry into interactive stories, complete with voiceovers in local dialects. The kids' eyes light up. Suddenly, learning isn't a monotonous thing, it's an adventure. Now, fast forward to Kolkata, India, where a group of engineering students aren't just coding algorithms, they are debating whether the same AI would get a chance to vote in grading their exams. Is it ethical? Is it efficient? Or a slippery slope to silicon overlords? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me here at this electrifying conference on AI, ethics, education, and legal frameworks. I am Professor Dr. Akash Muni, Professor and Associate Dean at a university in India. I want to talk about AI in education first. Folks, this isn't sci fi anymore. It's happening right now, and the numbers are exploding. In India, the AI education market is roaring ahead at a blistering speed, like 32.4% compound annual growth rate from 2025 to 2030. Now, picture this. A 2025 survey of Indian college students revealed that whopping 92% are wielding AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini for everything from essay brainstorming to debugging code, up from 66% a year before. And get this, in high schools, 92% of students believe AI will dominate learning in the next 5 years, with tools personating lessons for neurodiverse kids or rural dropouts who never dreamt of big institutions in India like the IITs. Across the border in Bangladesh, the story is just as thrilling and a tad more grassroots. Remember ChatGPT? Usage among university students skyrocketed from a measly 5% in 2022 to 49 by 2025. Bangladesh, bridging urban rural divides in ways we could not have scripted. So, taking the teacher led education revolution holding now, a tech startups fueled by the government grants are crafting AI apps that gamify math flood prone villages in Sylhet. It boosted literacy rates by 28% in Chittagong by adopting content to Bangla dialects. But here is a challenge. As a recent UNESCO readiness report warns that Bangladesh is primed for AI integration, only 17% of educators feels equipped, echoing India's own statistics, where just 6% are thrilled with institutional support. So, question for you, friends: are we training teachers to yield AI like a scalpel or letting it run wild? Over in Bangladesh, a 2025 study flagged how AI chatbots, mental health apps meant to support garment workers in summer roll out generic advice that ignores cultural stigmas. Now, there is a challenge. The same happens in India with the LLM startup, where there was cries of digital colonization. Now, in Bangladesh, generative AI is fueling cross-border hate also. There are more challenges. World Bank warns of low AI readiness in Bangladesh, and similarly in India, a 2025 study says that only 1 out of 5 young adults in India have undergone any AI scaling program. Talking about AI in media, picture this. The situation is good as well as bad. 500 to 600 billion dollar by 2025 for India alone, as per the Indian government, for AI in media. The same happens, same is the story in Bangladesh. So while there is a rising AI in not only legal field, in education, in media, in number of fields, There are challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand here in 2025. AI isn't a distant thunder, it's the monsoon reshaping our rivers in India and Bangladesh with 1.8 billion souls hungry for opportunity. We have the chance to lead, not as AI consumers, but creator of compassionate code. Let's commit today to upskill 10 million educators by 2030, to craft laws and infrastructure that roar, not whisper. And one last word, friends. There is a growing challenge of AI. Let's turn this challenge into an opportunity. Thank you. সবাই ভালো থাকুন।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It's striking data and statistics how AI is taking over, and we must respond. Thank you very much for joining us with us virtually. We are really grateful for your time and consideration. Next is our third panelist, Dr. Priyadarshini. Let me introduce her to you. Dr. Priyadarshini is a seasoned educator with over 18 years of experience and deep expertise in the field of education. She holds a PhD in education as well as a master's degree in chemistry and education. Currently, she serves as a senior lecturer at INTI International University, Nilal, Malaysia. Dr. Priya serves as an external examiner for PhD Viva Voce examinations in Malaysia and abroad, and as an external assessor of APEL Cube programs. Dr. Priya has contributed as an editor for journal issues and as a reviewer for numerous reputable journals. She has published widely, including over 30 articles in Scopus Index journals to date. Her academic leadership includes roles in program management, curriculum development, and accreditation. In her previous role as a program leader, she led the accreditation of the academic program, PhD education, Bachelor of Education, and Diploma in Education programs, and received full accreditation under the Malaysian Qualifications Agency standard. Dr. Priya has completed 9 research grants and is currently involved in 9 ongoing projects. Her work spans teacher education, educational psychology, pedagogy, higher education, instructional technology, and interdisciplinary studies. She is active on global platforms, including serving as a member of Oxford University's AI in Education Research Hub, a judge for the QS Reimagine Education Awards 2024 to 2025, a UNESCO OEB4W MOOC developer, and a participant in ASF InnoLab 6 2025. Please, Dr. Priyadarshini, would you proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Theo, for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Priya from INTI International University, Malaysia, as mentioned by Mr. Theo. Okay, so today's discussion topic is very interesting. I'm going to center my discussion around education. Yeah. So I'm sure everyone agrees, even in today's this discussion morning paper presentation, there were a lot of discussion about AI generated content and the loss of human knowledge. So that is what I would like to discuss today. So the topic, the discussion points I would like to highlight here is creativity, AI generated content, human generated content, and alongside the importance of conservation of human knowledge and content. We have been talking about for sustainability several conservation of energy, conservation of soil, conservation of water. And at this point, we are almost reached the brim to protect the conservation or to conserve human generated knowledge. Now, we all know that the LLM or the large language model we have been discussing since morning, that what we get, the output is based on the input, that is the prompt. And therefore, designing a prompt is where we are giving more concern on the learning point and emphasis. So there are 2 sides I would like to highlight. One is responsible use, or how we are using AI. And the other side is how are we giving credentials or the attributes to human generated content? Fair use or fair consumption? So looking at the dynamics of fair use is where we emphasize responsible use in university education, use AI, use it transparently, don't be dependent. This is where we are discussing. But the other side of the coin is also important, fair consumption and fairly attributing the credentials to the author or the creator or the creative works. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have heard about the Creative Commons. Have you heard about the Creative CC BY, where the authors have the legal or the authorship, how others can take the ownership or they use the derivative work. It would be like CC, Creative Commons, BY, share alike, non-derivative, non-commercial use. So when someone, or essentially a copyright material, but it is an open educational source, so I create some, say a poster, then I would like to be given it as an open educational source. Then anyone can adopt it, adapt it, or create a derivative work of it, yet they have to acknowledge the creator. So this is what we have been practicing so far. But now with the introduction of AI content, where there is, how are we consuming the AI in order to create work, right? So now it has become another two types, like pure human, mix of human and AI, I mean 3 types, and AI. Now who holds the authorship? Who holds the authorship when we are using AI? So this is what is the pressing concern in education, because we at one side, we are trying our students to be creative, be critical, be unique. What is the uniqueness of your writing? What is the uniqueness of your creation? But are we giving the credentials and attributions to those products? And if someone, say a student in my class, wants to just create something of his own or her own knowledge, do we acknowledge? And if that student do not want to use his or her work for you putting into AI tools, how do we protect it, maintain it, and transmit it to the future generation? Now, where are we standing? How do we protect our human knowledge? Now, for example, you take a photocopy, you want to take one copy of the other, the next one is not so clear. You take 50 copies of the copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, right? The 50th copy is no more going to be like the original copy for its clarity. And this is what is happening in the LLMs, where we reuse and recycle content and the originality is lost. At one point, the model will collapse. I know like technical people will explain more on that, because it's more of synthetic data creation and there is loss of human data. And therefore, now is the time to conserve, to protect human knowledge. And if anyone is willing in this free world to have the rights, to have the legal rights, that my work, I do not want to be used in AI for any of the model, I think there should be a pathway for that and legal procedure for that to protect human knowledge and to avoid AI derivative works. And so there is another group, and interestingly, just a month before, if you could browse, it's Humans Commons, HUMANS, and Commons. So they have come up with about 10 licensing content to protect human content and also human and AI interactive derivative content. For example, one of the license goes like this, like AI 0. That means I protect my work. I do not want my work to be fed into AI systems. So in that way, we will have, in the long run, in 50 years, there is still possibility to have human content, human and AI mixed content, and pure AI content. So, because in large language model or like anything you take, there is still copyrighted content available for us as open resource, because we say it's copyright, nobody can copy it. But I'm not sure whether these copyright materials are also fed into the LLMs. If these copyright materials are also forms the basis of the new AI generated, then what is the meaning of the copyright that we currently have for the 100% human generated content? So therefore, I think the legal framework, coming back to the point, the legal framework, I think what we need to institutionalize and emphasis with the students is still we need to be creative, but not overshadowing the human generated content over the AI content. So I really urge our educators, students, and also policymakers who are very much in the conservation of human knowledge. I think this is something to ponder over and to come up with the clear policies and for protecting the sustainability of our knowledge base. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Priya. You've raised so many interesting questions that AI has brought in the legal framework and the human touch and the AI generation and everything. Thank you so very much for such a lively talk. We'll move on. We have another virtual panelist. Our uh, fourth panelist is Dr. Mohammad Saiful Alam Chowdhury. Let me introduce him. Dr. Mohammad Saiful Alam Chowdhury is an award-winning investigative journalist and an associate professor in the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism at the University of Dhaka, Bangladesh. Before entering academia in 2009, he built an extensive career spanning over 11 years as a journalist for major Bangladeshi newspapers and TV channels, earning several accolades for his exceptional investigative reporting on crime and militancy. He holds a PhD from the University of Sussex, UK, where his research challenges to media freedom in election reporting in Bangladesh uncovered the impact of state intervention, particularly by intelligence agencies, on media freedom, a finding with significant implications for other developing democracies in Asia and Africa. Dr. Chowdhury has authored 6 books and 20 peer-reviewed papers. His research focuses on media and political systems, media freedom, investigative journalism, data journalism, news games, AI, and media literacy. He has been working as a lead trainer on AI in journalism in Bangladesh for DW Academy, Google News Initiative, and Prothom Alo. He has also served as a research consultant and trainer for numerous national and international organizations, including BRAC, TIB, Digitally Rights, MRDI, ADB, UNICEF, ILO Bangladesh, ILO Jordan, BBC Media Action, USAID, DW Academy, Google News Initiative, and DIAS, Digital Interactive Art Space, Denmark. Sir, over to you, please.
Thank you, estimated chair, fellow panelists and distinguished audience. A very good evening to all of you. We stand at a unique point in history, uh, what I should call a convergence. We are witnessing a rapid marching of biological intelligence and artificial capability. But as we build machines that can think, we must ask how should they act, what already actually discussed my previous fellow panelists. So how do we teach our students or children to coexist with them? That's the actually a big question. And how do we govern a force that evolves faster than the ink can dry on our walls? That's what actually combined this plenary session on AI, ethics, education, and legal frameworks, insights into a sustainable future. Well, it is very as a faculty and also a trainer, because been working for I think more than 3 years with the Global News Initiative and BW Academy as an AI trainer. So I believe that rapid development of artificial intelligence is not just a technological leap, it demands a profound ethical, educational, and legal reprisal across, all sort of human society. So, the single, the single biggest challenge facing of AI today, it is definitely ethical implication. When we build these systems, we inadvertently actually embedded our own biases into them because we face the black box problem. I think you know the actually if like the for example if we are AI an AI denies a loan or makes a medical diagnosis, we need to know why because transparency is non-negotiable. And furthermore, you must remember that AI is a mirror. It reflects the data we feed it. If we feed it historical bias, we automate actually discrimination. So that's why we must be intentional about encoding our highest values, not just our raw data. And bias and discriminations, when algorithms are trained on data reflecting historical societal biases, the AI amplifies that discrimination manifold. For instance, like you can use AI in recruitment. If trained predominantly on historical male candidate data, may automatically exhibit a bias against female candidates. There's several times I saw that actually it happens when journalists use their, archive to as a secondary data to actually to find their uh, breaking news. So this bias actually undermine the fundamental concepts of justice, accuracy, fairness, a lot of things. And then transparency and explainability. The AI system, I told that black box, particularly learning model. So it operates by the black box. It is difficult to understand how they arrive at a decision when it makes critical decision concerning life or livelihoods. The transparency and explainability of that decision are vital. So this is crucial for establishing trust and accountability. And then autonomy and control. So it's already discussed. So I don't want to go furthermore, but the concept is that as AI system gain greater autonomy, in particularly like education system or health diagnostics or judicial sentencing, even though journalism, maintaining human oversight becomes paramount. So the final decision making power must uh, reside with a human being, ensuring the responsibility and liability can be attributed for incorrect or unethical outcomes. So the second part of the of plenary session, the in education for sustainable future. So we do that in education. The shift is seismic. We are moving what I should call that we are actually now we are actually living on the era of thinking. So memorizing facts when a machine has them all, we must teach critical thinking, ethics, philosophy, a lot of things. And at the same time, AI offers personalized learning at, as a tutor for a journalist, for a doctor, for a educational specialist, whatever. But the danger is the homogenization. So must be actually build a sustainability society in the age of AI. And that first of all, in terms of Bangladesh, because the last couple of years, we are fighting against actually lack of the media literacy, digital literacy. Now we are talking about the AI literacy. So if you see the even though if you see the Eastern European countries or West European countries, they are actually start their AI literacy from the school level. But in Bangladesh, we are far from this. So in Bangladesh, from my point of view, AI literacy is now its fundamental skills. What actually we need to consider, uh, I think, greatly. I mean, in a high risk state, because each and every student nowadays almost they are using AI, but they don't know actually what the basic literacy they need then to actually gather. So we must educate the general public on how AI works, capabilities, limitations, ethical ramifications, from top to bottom. Everybody should know this. Uh, we are actually practicing interdisciplinary education. The practical knowledge of AI must be integrated with social science, journalism, law, philosophy, ethics. Need AI developers who not only know how to code, but also accurately aware of the moral consequences of their decisions. And that for that, we need actually human-centric skills. While AI will take over routine and repetitive tasks, tedious job, a human being like that. So core human capabilities like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving will remain indispensable. So last part, from my point of view, is legal framework. Uh, this is hard part because we have a facing problem. Technology is exponential, but the law is linear. So by this time, uh, from the education side, from the policy level side, we need to regulate a model and new because a new generation is released, and you see that you act as a they're very boldest. They're focusing on these categories. They can foresee what will happen, but we are still don't think about actually how can we mitigate the problem, basically from regarding the ethical perspective. We don't see in Bangladesh. So it will be a great danger in terms of the trust deficits. So without keeping pace with the rapid advancements, our legal and regulatory frameworks risk societal chaos. Uh, that's why we think we need or we require a dynamic and adaptive legal structure. In terms of data protection and privacy, in Bangladesh, data protection and privacy is very poor. I should say, among operationalizing ethics through law, uh, it is high risk. So, if we want the sustainable path, so we need actually a multi-stakeholder approach. Policymakers, experts, legal professionals, educators, civil society representatives must all convene at the same level. And we also need like this kind of international cooperations, uh, establishing common AI ethics standards. Might be we will overlook one thing that who, who is actually facing in Malaysia or India, so we can incorporate this. So the principle, our objective must be to create a system to uphold human values and fair, transparent, and ultimately dedicated to human well-being. So definitely is an helping hand, assistant of us, but it's not human being. So what we choose to build with these tools depends entirely on our ethical insight, educational preparedness, and legal foresight. And that's all for me. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to deliver my speech.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much, sir. You brought in so many interesting questions of the moral part of this engagement with AI and how we should face it from Bangladeshi end. Thank you very much, sir. Next, we have our fifth panelist Professor Mashrur Shahid Hossain. Mashrur Shahid Hossain is Professor of English at Jahangirnagar University, Dhaka. Bangladesh, a 2022 Fulbright Scholar in Residence. He also taught at several universities and colleges in the USA. He teaches, researches, publishes, and presents paper on a host of areas ranging from critical pedagogy and comparative literature to decolonial studies, cultural studies, and queer studies. In March 2021, he convened the first online literary festival in Bangladesh, the 3-day-long English JUBILE Jubilee Lit Fest 2021. For a decade, he has been organizing series of research tour and student research symposium in which he, along with his students, visits University of Home and Abroad with a view of garnering interdepartment academic exchange and mobilizing experiential learning. Presently, he is working on a series of projects on teaching world literature in Bangladesh and co-editing a book on South Asian comparative literature to be published in India in 2026. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. For my part, I would like to move to creative writing, and for this, I would like to use two personal anecdotes. Is some 20 years back, the students in our department of batch 29, who were in their third year, and one of them is here, who is the conference organizer, Dr. Asif Kamal. So they were there in their third year, and they published a Ball magazine on post-colonial literature. So that's 2005, a pre-Facebook, pre-internet age, and the students of batch 29, they were kind of excited with the exposure to African literature that was very rare at that time. The resources. And they were also kind of enamored by the teacher who brought them there. And not only enamored, but also kind of afraid I can say cautious about his tantrums. So that Ball magazine had a funny piece that employed many elements from Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. And one of these elements is the weapon that Okonko uses to kill Ikemefuna. The weapon is machete. So weapon is spelled as M-A-C-H-E-T-E, machete, but they spelled it M-A-S-H-E-T-E. MASH is the acronym of the teacher who taught the course, that is Mashrur, Shahid, Hossain. So it's a mash-ete, machete. Now this machete is an image that those pre-internet students created, relying chiefly on the sound it makes and the implication it makes. That is a teacher who is strict and useful. Back to the future, that is the present. This time, I was in a mood when I received a poem on my birthday in 2022. I was nearly impressed. Soon another verse appeared, then another by two other students, and they were quite similar in structure. And I got it, those poems were AI generated. So while I was planning my topic on creativity for this panel, these AI poems hit my memory, and I decided to play naughty. So what I did, I composed a prompt for Grok, a booming AI chatbot. The prompt is, write a poem to celebrate the birthday of Professor Mashrur Hossain, who teaches English literature at Jahangirnagar University. In 4 seconds, Grok responded with a poem that started with literary figures from Shakespeare to Donne. Part of it, Mashrur, you have carried John Donne's bell through the hurried, humid corridors of Savar. Let it toll inside the ribs of students. A bell tolling inside the ribs of students, pretty weird, but I was intrigued. So I modified the prompt. Now added that he teaches African and Caribbean literature. And now Grok offered an ode to a weaver of words that includes local African and Caribbean references. I am further impressed. And Grok now recommended, because it includes Caribbean writers, and it recommended that I add Thai dialectic rhythm to the poem. It's a kind of Edward Kamau Brathwaite style. I was intrigued and I say yes, and there came a calypso in the Caribbean style. Come rather round, let the campus drums talk. Boom, boom, da-da, boom, boom, da-da. Mashrur, Mashrur, turn another page in the book of the year. Mashrur, Mashrur, we dance in you older with love and with cheer. Impressive. Now, I made this longish introduction to demonstrate the shift from machete to Mashrur, that is shift from HI or human intelligence-inspired creativity to AI-inspired simulation. Well, since we are talking of creative writing, my students were amateur writers. But the question is, do professional writers or creative writing enthusiasts, do they really care or rely on AI? A Duke University study said, till now, no, they don't. But they are genuinely anxious that AI has undermined their job security and that AI might be leading to human obsolescence, that is, human skills and relevance becoming outdated in creative writing. And we are familiar with the anecdote of Rai Kudan, a Japanese author who won a prize, and then she revealed that 5% of her book or novel was composed by ChatGPT. Oops, but wait, I mean, she explained that ChatGPT composed only that part of the novel where AI is the narrator. So this event is a good example of ethical AI and sustainable AI in creative writing. That is how we make use of AI without obsoletizing human creativity. AI has been becoming, or maybe has become our new muse, the 11th muse. It inspires us, but it overwhelms as well. I'm a Gen X, but I'm not into demonizing or delegitimizing AI. Rather, I'm into play with it. If AI has an edge, then we have our tricks too. So for this, in our discussion of the AI's impact on creative writing, I found two issues at stake. One is ethics, that is claim for ownership, and second is sustainability, that is post-processing, that whether we are becoming reliant on the inexhaustible omnipotence of AI. So in the next 4 minutes, I will survey 3 ways in which we may innovate a productive tension between HI and AI when we are teaching, learning, or dealing with creative writing. So the first way could be critical integration of AI. It's surely teachers' discretion and also how they address the digital divide that determines if we follow an AI-allowed syllabus or an AI-resistant syllabus. Someone was saying that AI is there to stay, so let us accept it. Whatever it is, make sure, that is, the teachers must make sure that they clearly state the limit of the use of AI, or the students understand the limit of the use of AI. It is used the yellow, green, and red light. If it's green light, it means AI is completely allowed. If it's yellow light, partially allowed. If it's red light, it's prohibited. Some teachers prefer integrating AI critically. I have tried it myself, and it reaped well. For example, get students work on a story that AI made. Ask students to find out where AI-originated story feels generic, where it lacks human warmth. Also ask students to add a personal element, for example, an event that hurt the students, ask them to add them. Or ask students to rewrite the middle or the AI or the ending of the AI-generated story so that it feels more intense or insightful. Such practices help students learn how to add life to an insipid text. To ensure legality, an important thing is ensuring accountability. Both the teachers and the students must be accountable for whatever they suggest or produce. But there is another point. I was talking about decolonizing AI and other stuff. There is a modern genre that AI promotes are chiefly Western because they are chiefly fed into corpora that was linguistically, culturally Western. So in Bangladesh, therefore, we teachers must consider what kind of literature we make our students practice, if they use AI, and how we integrate local orature mode in our creative writing pedagogy. Second point is that if we allow AI in creative writing, let us foreground the only you elements. For this, it is important to reconceptualize creativity and creative writing. We must understand that creative writing is not only the product, that is the final story, but also rather chiefly about the process. What happens that AI may compose a fine image, AI may write a well-structured story, and you are happy. The students are happy. But it denies the students the struggle for finding a topic, the stress of structuring a story, the challenge of crafting a fine image. It is through this tiring or taxing process that we find our voice and we sharpen our craft. AI denies this, or AI does not let us experience this. So let's go through this self-discovery, because it is the way through which we may attain what only we can do. So this only you is the element that only you can achieve. Let our students understand and get it that it is not AI that can do this, because what AI does is to gather and synthesize millions of data that can approximate you, but that can never be you. Related to it is the third and the last point that I would like to make is that teachers should focus on and evaluate the process of writing. So how to discourage AI in creative writing? If you use this prompt in AI, or if you do the literature review, a common answer is add human or personalized elements. AI may not be able to perform well. Why? Because AI does not have emotion, so it cannot reach the immediacy of human feelings. So if the prompt is like, ask AI to write a poem on a smell that's unique to your city, also add a quote that's your grandmother's favorite. The argument is that the LLMs cannot access a student's personal history, so they may not write a good poem. I used this prompt, and Gemini came up with a nice poem in 4 seconds. So I think personalizing or localizing the context or content may not lessen the seduction of AI. What may work is using process work. What I mean is that instead of asking students to submit a final product, we may do 3 things. I will briefly explain this. First is engage students in class. Give them a prompt that's real time. For example, whatever you are seeing outside the window. Help students form ideas. Ask them to trace how they are finding words. That is a metacognitive reflection on the ways ideas are generated, and grade them. Second, or alternatively, give them an assignment, but ask them to show you regularly the progress of their writing. They should also demonstrate the challenges they faced while they're composing and how they managed those issues. Also, they should report whether and how they incorporated peer feedback and how it developed. So in each case, evaluate and grade these process works. The third is probably most exciting, but also most dangerous. The process-oriented approach also celebrates risks and failures. Make your students feel that wrong starts count, that faulty structure is fine, that weird phrasing is cool, it's human. What happens when students feel safe with their faulty compositions, when they know that their stupidities won't be penalized but will be valued, they're less likely to steal a perfect poem from AI, and they are more likely to dare innovations. So to conclude, these 3 things I believe are useful to make a productive interanimation of HI, human intelligence, and AI. For legal framework, first, clarify the limit of the use of AI. 2, for ethics, make students foreground the only you element in writing. And 3, for sustainability, develop a dare culture that celebrates imperfections. Arguably, what AI cannot produce is authentic imperfection, a quality that makes us human, a non-AI being. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. It was absolutely brilliant. I myself try my hands in creative writing, and the anecdotes that you shared and the way you brought your points, it was simply amazing. We have our final panelist, our very own Dr. Robayet Ferdous Syed. He's going to talk about the legal frameworks and his experience about AI. Let me introduce him. Dr. Robayet Ferdous Syed is a legal scholar whose work spans the courtroom, the classroom, and policy reform. He is currently Associate Professor and Head of Law at American International University, Bangladesh. He completed his PhD in law at Monash University under the Graduate Research Excellence Scholarship, where his research introduced innovative mechanisms for holding corporation criminally liable for workplace fatalities in Bangladesh, an issue directly relevant to discussions on AI governance, regulatory ethics, and institutional accountability. Dr. Robayet's research interest is that intersection of labor law, occupational safety, corporate regulation, and access to justice. His broader work increasingly engages with the ethical and legal challenges posed by emerging technologies, including AI-driven decision-making, institutional liability, and digital rights. Sir, over to you.
a generous introduction. Never expected, but thank you. Thank you. What would you think if I tell you a story about a person who commit thousands of crimes around the world every year, but there is no prosecution against those persons only because there is no legal frameworks? Yes, this story is about AI technological mishap. I will share with you about some instance where AI strong wrong detection result casualties, even fatalities. So even it is fatalities, but there is no legal prosecution against the AI technology or a corporation who provides the AI technology. For instance, I'm sure that you are aware about the recent discussion live facial recognition camera supported by AI in the UK. So UK Police Department decided to use live facial recognition camera to detect convict and ex-convict around their locality. But unfortunately, the AI-generated live facial recognition camera wrongfully detect innocent people. One instance is he is Robert William in Detroit, 2020. He wrongfully detected by live facial recognition camera, and he tried to appeal himself to the police department that I am not a criminal, I am not an ex-convict, but I am an innocent. But the Department of Police in the UK denied him and finally sent him to before the competent court. And finally, Robert William able to himself prove that he was an innocent. So it's a defamatory statement and a crimes or an offense against Robert William. But ultimately, responsibility targeted to human. I mean, individual police and a person who provide this AI technology, but not the corporation who making this AI technology and getting benefit from using of this AI technology. Again, I'm sure that you have heard in 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the US government decided to cancel A-level exam and to assess A-level exam in an alternative way. I mean, through the process of assignment and so on. And this assignment was evaluated, assessed by AI technology. Unfortunately, many students assessed low graded compared to the human assessment or human teacher. So it was a huge criticism and very challenging to the government, and finally government bound to rescind of this process and re-evaluated of this A-level exam sheet through a human teacher. Again, the responsibility goes to the policy, only change the policy. None of the body or corporation or AI technology has been detected as a penalty. Out of hundreds of examples around the world, I just refer one more example. AI-generated over-automated driving system in March 2018 was unable to detect a human person, and the over-automated system in Arizona, America in 2018 crushed and killed a human being. She was Hertzberg, Ellen Hertzberg. So after 1 year of the investigation, the county attorney decided that there is no prosecution against this incident, since there is no legal framework to prosecute against a person in these similar types of incident. Now, question is that can AI or any corporation provided this service of the AI, or a legal entity who provide AI-related services, be held liable for their wrongful act, or would human individual be held liable? according to the legal theory and jurisprudence, there are two types of person. One is natural person like you and me, and another is a legal person. Legal persons means a person who is a corporation, company, or association, and so on. Under Section 11 of the Penal Code also supported of this definition that a legal person include a corporation or a company, even a company or a corporation who provide the AI technology and getting the benefit. So again, does a legal person can bear a mens rea or actus rea to satisfy a criminal activities or offense? According to the criminal law, to impose criminal liability, a person should have to prove two elements of crime. One is mens rea, one is actus rea. So the question is that, does a legal person or legal entity or a corporation who provide the AI technology and getting the benefit can bear a mens rea? Mens rea means a mental element of crime, or a guilty mind, or a malice. According to the law, that if a person, either a legal person or a natural person, if they bear the mental element of crime, and according to the mental element of crime, if they have any actus rea, then he would be held liable criminally. In my short answer in this situation, AI is an algorithm command provided by a programmer, and an algorithm may not be ethically or morally responsible, but a human programmer who prepared this AI program would be held liable. And in addition to that, a company who who sell or provide the service of the AI and getting the benefit would be held liable because he was the benefited for selling of the AI technology. So let me justify theoretically that whether AI would be held liable. I mean, a legal entity or a legal person would be held liable for any crime or offense committed by them. In the early 19th century, the Savigny, a legal jurist in the Germany, he said that AI, the legal person or a legal entity is not like a human being. They don't have blood and brain. They don't have human sense. So without this sense or human being or brain or blood, they cannot bear a mental element of crime. Therefore, they would not be held liable for any act done by legal entity. But in the late 19th century, Girke is another legal jurist. He has set aside of this theory, and he established a new theory as known as the real entity theory. According to the real entity theory, a legal entity or a legal person metaphorically can amount to be a human being, even though they don't have blood, they don't have mind, but they can commit a crime, and according to the commit of crime, according to the directive mind of the principle of the theory, a group of person or any single directive mind of the people, the decision of the human being within this corporation would amount to be a corporate entity, corporate mens rea or corporate malice or guilty mind. So in this way, a corporation can bear a guilty mind or a criminal mind or a malice, and according to this guilty mind, they can commit also a crime. So question is that, is there any legal framework around the world to prosecute corporation?
Sir, I would interrupt. Would you please finish within some time?
So we should a legal framework. Finally, I should say that we should have a legal framework. Right now, we have some gaps, so we have to replace this gap through the process of establishing or enacting a legal framework around the world. Thank you very much.
This brings us end of the panel. Due to time shortage, we are not able to go to question answer session. I regret that. But thanks to all the panelists. Thank you very much for your insightful talks, and that generated many questions. Thank you for raising those crucial questions about AI and human interaction and the way we should proceed for future and for Bangladesh and for this region. Thank you very much. We'll conclude here.
Thank you, Mr. Gomes, and to all our distinguished panelists for that insightful and critical discussion on AI ethics and sustainable future. May I request you to linger a little bit more? We have a quick moment of appreciation. I request our organizing chair, Professor Dr. Asif Kamal, to come to the stage to deliver some plaques of appreciation to our panelists. I also request Professor Dr. Professor Dr. Hamidur Rahman from Daffodil International University, who is with us at this moment. And I also request our advisor to the Media and Mass Communication Department, Sir Professor Sajjadul Islam, to join us. Sorry, sir. Dr. A.J.M. Shafiul Alam Bhuiya, sir, to join us here. Okay, so Dr. Asif Kamal will be delivering certain tokens of appreciation. First of all, to the panel speaker, Dr. Priyadarshini. Thank you, Dr. Priyadarshini, for your insightful session. Next, we have Dr. Mashrur Shahid Hossain, who will be receiving another token of appreciation from us. Next, we have Professor Dr. Robayet Ferdous Syed, who will be receiving from Professor Hamidur Rahman. And finally, we have Dr. Abu Saleh Muhammad Rafi here, who will be receiving. Yes, he is receiving from Dr. A.G.M. Shafiul Alam Bhuiya, sir. Thank you, dear panelists. You can take your places on the stage, among the audience. Thank you for your time. I would basically request Ms. Priyadarshini, Dr. Priyadarshini, to stay a little more, give us a little more time, because we have a few more presentations to be delivered. The other panelists, can you please take the seats among the audience? Thank you. Dr. Hamidur Rahman and Professor Shafiul Alam Bhuiya, please grace the stage for us for a little more while. Okay, so there are some crests for the co-organizers, which will be received by respective representatives. I will request Dr. Priyadarshini to receive a crest of appreciation for INTI International University as a co-organizer of our ICCTASS 2025. Next, we have Dr. Farhana Rafiq. Could you please join us on the stage, Dr. Rafiq, to receive a token of appreciation for the co-organizer, Unirazak University. Dr. Rafiq is here with us. She is receiving from Dr. Shafiul Alam Bhuiya. And finally, for UTU, we have Dr. Asif Kamal. He will be receiving the crest on behalf of UTU from Professor Dr. Hamidur Rahman, sir. So that concludes our presentation session. Thank you all the distinguished guests. We will be moving on to the next session shortly. I request Professor Dr. Shafiul Alam Bhuiya sir to stay on the stage because we are going to start our third